what sort of play Cenk is doing here, but I'm sure it has something to do with the left has been the pseudo left, the NATO left has been infighting. And when Marianne Williamson came on their network to announce how she was running for president, it was very lackluster. They seemed very disinterested. But some reason yesterday he decided to go all in on Marianne Williamson. So let's read this new tweet.
Actually say anything about it.
Yeah, so he says Marianne Williamson deserves a ton of credit for having the courage to run in this presidential race. She knew the press would be very unkind to her. She knew that she would take for running against Biden, but she had the strength to do it anyway. Tip of the hat to that courage.
The only media that I can think about that has been hard on her was RBN. Like she has been. I mean, they asked her a couple of tough questions, but nothing. Well, nothing too bad.
Nothing too hard.
I would say we're the first people. We're the first channel that ever gave her a hard interview. The first one ever. I would say that.
I believe this has something to do with Dr. Cornel West. I don't know.
It could be.
It just give me that feeling. It just give me that feeling like they being petty, and because they
could be doing this. They could be thinking like, wow, Cornel West, he could actually draw people in the general election. So let's try to draw people away from him now and bring him to the Marianne Williamson camp, because at least we know if it's the Marianne Williamson camp, the Democratic establishment can go ahead and shut that down through the primary system. So it could be that he is working for Jeffrey Katzenberg. Go ahead.
So Cenk, you are trying to pretend that the grift that Marianne is pulling off, they're only going to increase her profile selling books is somehow brave. Like Marianne Williamson is doing nothing new. Like why you guys think I predicted that she's doing a book tour? Because that's what everyone does now. The new modern trend that has happened over the last at least 10 to 15 years, probably longer, but especially the last 10, 15 years, you run for office, that help you get the media publicity you need, and then you release a book. Look at every single presidential candidate that ran in 2016. And I'm talking about Trump, the people who ran against Trump.
Yeah.
They all they all had a book. Every single one. That was the number one political grift that everyone knew about. So Marianne saw this technique. They saw this technique, and they get a lot of publicity. They sell a lot of books doing that. So she decided she went on that train. What is brave about that? What is brave is running as a third party, because the people who smearing progressives, of course, are smearing Marianne Williamson, but there are people who consider Dr. Cornel West their friend. People that looked up to Dr. Cornel West who got the order. Hey, this motherfucker is running outside duopoly. You smear them. You smear him. Way more courage to do that than run as a Democrat and then get smeared as an outsider, get smeared as next Joe Stein, Ralph Nader. Bernie Sanders didn't want to be the next Ralph Nader.
He was like, no. Yeah, he was like, I don't want that. He's like, I don't want that.
Yes, take real bravery.
Here's another one he tweeted out, and Marianne actually responded to him. The fact that no progressive other than Marianne Williamson is running in the race is crazy. It's so important to get the progressive message out on presidential elections. Let me pause here. What? Do we really believe that the Sam Cedar types, the Emma Vigeland types, the Cenk Uygur types would be backing any progressive right now? I don't believe that. I believe they will be backing Joe Biden. But since nobody's there, they can point to it. Oh, I wish it was some progressive there. You mean like Cornel West? Is that what you're talking about? Like you're completely skipping over him. Go ahead, Ron.
I don't see him as a progressive. I see him more as a civil rights leader or something like that, above progressive. Because I wouldn't say he's a communist or a socialist, but he damn sure ain't no whatever that is, because the progressives of America is pushing war. The progressives of America is waging war against homeless people like Cenk and Anna does. I don't know what the fuck is progressive about any of these people, especially if you ain't progressive on foreign policy, like, Palestine. What the fuck? What do that mean to be progressive? So the word, man, shut the fuck up, Cenk.
What does it mean to be a person who says I stand for Palestinian rights, but I'm going to support a person who stands for the apartheid state of Israel. That's something that just doesn't fly. Like, you wouldn't do that for Medicare for all. You wouldn't do that. That's a line in the sand. But why isn't that for Palestine? But anyway, that's the second note. Let me finish reading this. It's so important to get the progressive message out there on presidential elections. The number one reason progressives gave me for not running mainstream media would character assassination them. Did you get that? Wait, maybe I'm saying that wrong. The number one reason progressives gave me for not running mainstream media would character assassination.
So he's essentially saying the number one reason that progressives gave him why they won't run against Biden because the media will go after them.
Who gives a fuck?
He says it in a very clunky way, but that's essentially what he's saying.
If you run after Biden, like let's state the facts. Biden is a very unpopular man right now. Anybody with enough clout, whatever the kids say nowadays, can run against him and make a fucking wave. Any fucking body. Because all you got to do is be to his left. That's it. Be to his left on some things and say you're going to get us out of war.
Here's Marianne Williamson actually responded. She says, this is her talking to Cenk. I can tell you from experience that is absolutely true. What is so depressing, however, is how many progressives buy it.
So hold up. She's saying, oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't see this. So she is saying that the only reason that people like RBN has criticisms of Marianne Williamson is because we were buying into mainstream media talking points against her.
What talking points?
Oh, the fucking ego on this person. Unbelievable. You believe there's no legitimate criticism of you. That's what she believes. She believes there's no reason any leftist will ever criticize me. If you criticize me, you must be watching Rachel Maddow. You must be subscribed to the New York Times. Imagine the kind of ego it takes for you to say this.
Yeah, and look what this person responds and says, "What's up with your staff?" Because that's the top story, but she responds. She responds. She responds, "My staff is fine, wonderful, fun to work with. Ask reporters to talk to them sometimes."
You got him on
NDAs,
you scumbag. She got him on NDAs, son. And then, so go back down to that tweet. Holy fucking shit, I did not see this. Holy crap. So
this one
he actually responds to the staffing tweet, and she says, "People love you." You mean the ones who you fired?
Right here. Yeah, right.
Why you fire them then, Marianne? If they were fun to work with. Your staff is fine. I get the staff that you keeping that you don't want to fire because they are acknowledging your book tour and grift. I guess that staff is fine. The staff that's willing to go along with this grift, the ones who don't want to ask that many questions, right? But the people like Jeremy that actually want to get progressive wins, whether we agree with this strategy or not, we disagree with his strategy, but it seems like he legitimately care, right? He's like, nah, fuck that shit. That's the staff he don't like. And that's why that answer is that's such a politician answer.
This next story, so let me bring up the headline here. So I did all that prefacing and the first two short stories to get to Political's article right here. Leaked audio of Marianne Williamson volunteer staff call reveals a bleak state of her campaign. Now, if you didn't hear, I haven't. Audio? Yeah, now I haven't. I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure I haven't even tried to find it because they basically sum it up in here. But there is leaked audio of from Marianne Williamson's a staff meeting, and they go over some of the things they talk about, and I'm going to read it right now. So let's go.
Shit.
Leaked audio of Marianne Williamson volunteer staff call reveals a bleak state of her campaign. A 2-hour-long Zoom meeting ranged from accusations to therapy. This just came out 2 days ago. This just came out on Thursday, late Thursday.
It was like therapy sections of them motherfuckers.
So here we go. So long shot Democratic presidential candidate Marianne Williamson privately warned volunteers that her campaign was desperate for cash and that she did not have the personal funds to keep it going at its
Can we pause there real quick?
State. Go ahead.
Can we pause there? Can we get a W in the chat? How much working class money did we just save? What a W! What a great paragraph to read.
Makes you feel good.
Her campaign was desperate for cash. Your grift failed, and we wanted to warn people. Remember the question I asked her? I asked her, why should working class people donate to your campaign after seeing what happened to Bernie Sanders? And her answer was, well, if you feel that way, if you actually care about strategy, if you actually care about the allocation of the funds of the workers, don't vote for me. Don't donate to me if you actually care about that stuff. So, yeah, she said that, and I'm glad that you guys listened. After she told people not to donate to her, if you believe in what we believe, people did not donate to her. What a W. Anyway, sorry, CJ, I want you to continue. I just want to emphasize that point. It is exactly what we wanted to save the world. No more. We wasted at least $300 million. I had someone correct me. I used to say 200. He's like, nigga, it's way more than that. So around at least $300 million was spent on the Bernie campaign. Imagine what we could have did with that money. Imagine the libraries we could have built, Rome, with that much damn money. Man. So, yeah, we care about saving the funds of the working class. And I'm going to ask you guys before I pass back to CJ, how many other channels are prioritizing that? How many channels mention this as a thing that left should care about? No one does. We're the only fucking people that say, no, the workers need to be careful with the funds that they allocate to, where the labor goes. Anyway, go ahead, CJ.
And here's a quote from the leaked audio. Quote, I have put my own money in, and I don't have the money to continue putting in at the level I have. Williamson said in a Zoom call for campaign volunteers obtained by Politico. And she goes on to also say this, quote, because remember, I'm not making a living while I'm doing this, end quote. So she is putting her own money in. It's doing that bad that she's having to put her own money in. And she's saying, hold on, guys. I'm here to work for the people. I'm here to do this for the people. But if you think about to deplete my freaking bank account for you, these people, that is not happening, sir. We're not doing that.
She calculating, because it's all part of the calculation. How much money do you personally spend on your campaign versus the profit you're gonna get back from the book sales? So at this point, she's like, "Oh, nigga, I'm gonna be in the red if we don't speed this up." And these are the conversations she had behind the scenes on these leaked audio calls. Right? She's like, "God, not spend that much. I don't care that much about the motherfucking movement." Anyway, go ahead,
if she believe in what she says, she'd go broke for the cause. She go broke for the cause, but we'll see.
And then how you know she knows she stand no chance, because you're not gonna do shit like that if you're gonna for a vanity campaign presidential run. Like maybe if you run for House seat, if you was actually serious about being a public servant, like if you like, I want to be a public servant, so my best chance is Congress. To give my so I wanted to spend my money on Congress because there's a good chance to get in there. Right, that's what you do. But she's not serious, and she don't want to invest that much, knowing that she's not serious. But go ahead, Ron.
They whole point of her running is just it's pointless now. We have no debates, we have no primary. So why are you running as a Democrat? And a lot of people say, well, it's to get our ideas on the debate stage. Well, nigga, what debate stage?
Right.
Yeah, that's true. What debate stage? Yeah. What debate stage, and how many opportunities are you going to get a chance to point out Medicare for all? You'll get a bunch of opportunities to point out the Ukraine stands, though. You'll get a bunch of opportunities to point out, Palestine. So just another point. But let's get back to the article. It says, a best-selling author and spiritual guru, Williamson blames several factors for the current financial status of her campaign. Among them, RBN, Nick, and CJ, them damn ass motherfuckers. I haven't said that, but let me continue. Among them, she alleged, were the press focused on internal turmoil and a concerted effort by her political opponents to sabotage her campaign. So she's basically saying all the stuff that's going on, you guys are focusing on that shit too much. You're focusing on people leaving my campaign too much instead of what? Marianne Williamson? You're not doing campaign stops because you don't have money to do campaign stops. So what else are they supposed to focus on?
CJ, Marianne Williamson is saying, "Stop focusing on my incompetence, guys. God damn it." Now, so Marianne, Jesus Christ, this is one of the funniest lines I've read. People think so you're running for political office. You're running for president, not just political office. You're running for fucking president, and you think people won't attack you? You think there won't be a focus on your internal turmoil? You think? Hold on, look at this line. She said there was a concerted effort by her political opponents to sabotage her operations. Marianne, are you a child? That's called an election.
And what opponents do she actually have?
Concerted effort by her political opponents to sabotage her operations. What candidate in the history of running that, obviously, except the people who run unopposed, but no one run unopposed for president. So in the history of people running for president, has there ever been a candidate that did not have quote unquote political opponents to sabotage their operations? Nigga, Ron DeSantis has political opponents that are trying to sabotage his operations. Donald Trump has political opponents trying to sabotage their operations. Barack Obama had political opponents to sabotage their operations. That is literally what it means to be a candidate, you fucking child. Like that statement, that sentence is unbelievable. The amount that she feel like she's old. Like that she old that people won't criticize you if you ran. That's unbelievable. That's an unbelievable statement to make. And that's the reason why rational people like Jimmy don't run. There people say, why don't you run, nigga? I'm like, nigga, I'm not trying to get ripped to fucking shreds. That was most people would expect. Most people expect to get ripped to shreds and they ran. Meanwhile, Marianne Williamson like, why are people attacking me? Well, I thought people would like me. That's fucking you, unserious child.
And let's be real. Let's be honest with ourselves. Nobody take Marianne Williamson, presidential run, serious. I'm pretty sure her opponents probably look at her like, oh yeah, I forgot she was running. Like nobody cares, and you are the only one who do the most damage to your own campaign. Because when you get online, you go to these indie shows or you go say some dumb shit like we need to fund Ukraine more, we need to go do this and that, something that's very unpopular at the time. That's going to get you a lot of pushback. You are the only one digging your grave for your campaign, you know, because I don't see Dr. Cornel West out there or RFK out there throwing political ads on you on the internet or on the TV. I don't see no shit like that. You know, it's just you. You are digging your own grave for your campaign, and you are the reason why it's broke. Nobody takes you serious. Point.
And let me finish out this here. We're down here. She agreed with a volunteer on. Actually, let me for context, let me read a little bit further back. Among them, she alleged, were the press focus on internal turmoil and a concerted effort by her political opponents to sabotage her operations. She agreed with a volunteer on the Zoom call who said that, quote, DNC insiders and other efforts from the Democratic Party are determined to undermine her campaign. Williamson said she discussed the theory, quote, quite a bit with her campaign manager, Carlos Cardona. Quote, it is shocking to us, she said. It really makes you wonder. I've never seen anything like it, and it does make you wonder. Politics is dirty.
No,
guys, it's dirty.
Let's pause there for a second. Who wants this person as their leader? Who wants this weakness? This weak motherfucker, like, oh, I ran for president, and people are criticizing me. And once again, she did not publish statement. This is her complaining internally. Can you imagine what it's like to work with someone like this? You're working with someone who ran for president, like, oh, the press is mean to me. I never seen a presidential candidate that did not get shit. What do you expect? Are you really this dumb? That's unbelievable. Go ahead, CJ. Unbelievable.
At another point in the call, Williamson says she believed that the DNC, Biden, whomever, were working to stunt her popularity on TikTok, where she has millions of viewers. The DNC and the Biden campaign did not respond to a request for comment. The purpose of the Zoom meeting was to revive morale. This is the purpose of it. To revive morale with a Q&A session with Marianne that went on for about 2 hours. Quote,
Oh my
when it
God,
comes
this
to
is the funniest shit
this
I
is
read.
listen to this right here. When it comes to finances, we're an insurgent campaign. We don't have celebrity relatives that are throwing money at us or super PAC. I'm assuming she's talking about, that's a reference to RFK. Celebrity relatives. I guess, because Cornel West doesn't have celebrity relatives and Joe Biden doesn't. So we're going to focus on, just like Bernie Sanders did last election, those $27 donations. Cordona, Williamson's campaign manager, said in an in-person interview on Thursday.
So I'm going to interrupt shortly there, CJ. You see the plan. I saw that plan coming a long time ago. We cut that shit off before it started because Marianne Williamson saw the Bernie Sanders grift. She saw that $400 million. I saw some comments that $400 million that Bernie Sanders raised from the working class. And she's like, nigga, I can just repeat the shit that he says and raise that much. That's a gold mine. Mm-hmm. She was looking to grift you motherfuckers another few $100 million. And that's why, and there were people that accurately pointed out how Marianne Williamson was against Medicare for All in 2020. Yes. And then she quote unquote flipped. She flipped on this issue. No, she's like, nigga, I want that Bernie money, and I'm more than happy to say I support Medicare for All. And that means I get that fucking Bernie money. That's her message. Go ahead, CJ.
Let's go down here. Okay, so let's scroll up here. It's another quote. It's going to be a people's campaign, and people's campaign aren't always the wealthiest. Williamson is running a progressive primary campaign against President Joe Biden, but she has experienced consistent staff turnover and is struggling to fundraise. Most recently, the campaign lost. This is where they start talking about the book tour stuff right here. Most recently, the campaign lost more than 6 staffers in 1 week, including the former field director who took to social media to accuse the Williamson campaign of being more of a book tour than a run for office.
CJ, I didn't know it was 6. I didn't know it was 6. I thought it was the field director. So you breaking this news to me. You the Hill, a media organization, quote unquote. You're the Hill, hosted by serious people apparently, and you don't ask her this. So it'd be one thing, it was just a Facebook post, but there's 6 people. There's that field director and 6 other people, but no one. You guys don't want to ask about that.
6 people walked out on top of the people that she fired. But hey, it is what it is. We all know it's a book run or some type of grift. Because what is she gonna do? Okay, let's say she's beaten Biden and Trump. Let's just say. But, let's just imagine she beat Trump and Biden for this election, right? What is she gonna do, man? What is she gonna do? She just like Biden on everything else. This run is just a money grab. It has to be because these people don't want no real political power. They just want to be popular.
Because they're not gonna do nothing with it. They don't have the stomach to really do nothing with it.
They want to be popular. I'll be real sorry. I apologize, CJ. But they want to be popular. You look at how Marianne Williamson is bitching about being attacked, which every single politician should expect. So, if you're serious about running for office and you see Dr. Cornel West kind of adopt this as well, you're like, nigga, we know we're going to be attacked. You should be expecting me, my man. Like, why don't they like me? You got to see that reveals the intention. If I have a set of ideas that I care about, that I wanted to fight for, I'm like, bring it on, motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Trump is like, bring it on, motherfucker. And that's how I would be if I ran. That's how any progressive would be. And Dr. Cornel West don't have that temperament, but that is generally how I present himself. Like, yeah, I know you guys are going to smear me. I'm going to go on CNN, bring it on, motherfuckers. But Marianne is running a vanity project where she want to be loved. That's why she's having a mental breakdown in staffer meetings, because she's not giving the red carpet celebrity treatment that she saw Bernie Sanders get. Mm-hmm. And that's what she wanted.
Because you have no original ideas, and you have no ground game. You don't have that it that Bernie had, And so I'm no hating, but you don't have that that energy that'll pull me off my couch and make me go knock on a nigga door that I don't even know. Like, Bernie had me in the hood knocking on people's doors. You don't have that. So it's not us, it's you. I'm sorry.
That's so funny. Now when you click on this little hyperlink, it says to social media to accuse. It actually takes you to the Twitter post by the guy who had the screenshots of the campaign saying that, the closing words of the staffer who was saying that this is a book deal. I'm sorry, this is a book tour. It takes you to that. So that tweet is linked in this article is basically what I'm saying. And let's continue though. Williamson dismissed. This is referring to the allegations of this is a book tour that we covered, Nick. She says Williamson dismissed that allegation on the Zoom call, noting that other candidates who run for office also release books. Yeah. She explained that the book coming out in September, titled "The Mystic Jesus: The Mind of Love." Jesus Christ! That's how she's running. Oh, that's the name of the book. Yeah, is one that was contracted from her publisher ahead of her 2020 campaign. Instead of writing that during her first presidential run, she negotiated publishing her campaign book, A Political Love, a handbook for New American Revolution, instead. So, actually, let me continue right here.
And then she gets. So she's trying to. I just so happened I already had the deal on a book, so that's me and not using this as a book. How does that contradict? Go up to that paragraph again. She gives two reasons that does not contradict the claim that what she's being accused of. We are accusing you of using your campaign as a book tour. So then she said, yeah, you're accusing me of using this campaign as a book tour. Don't you know other politicians do that? Okay, and motherfucker, that's what we accusing you of. That's why I was asking when you said that, like, that's your defense that other politicians do it? That's why we accusing you of doing it, ma'am. And secondly, she's like, well, I already had the book deal before. That doesn't change the accusation at all. How does that change the fact that you're definitely using this campaign to boost your book that you know was already coming out? That does not dispute that at all. At all.
Yeah, but she thinks this is just what professional managerial class does. They say a bunch of shit and hope you go and you just believe it and they just leave it there. Just even
turn
though
your brain off. They just want you to turn your brain off. Absolutely. Go ahead, CJ.
And then she goes on to say she's giving more excuses of why this is not a big deal that she has a book deal. She said her political book didn't sell well, the old one didn't sell well, and added that she only gets 50 cents a book. Now, how does either one of those change that this is a book tour? Because couldn't it be that because it didn't sell well last time, you're doing things differently this time, so it does sell well? Doesn't that make sense that your book tour this time is going to be better so you can sell well? So that's not a reason. Then she adds, because I'm only getting 50 cents. Aren't you going to say then I need to sell more books? Isn't that a reason to sell more books? So I was going to sell 1,000 last time. I only got 50 cents. This time I'm trying to sell 3,000. You see these reasons CJ, don't even stop. Go ahead, bro.
Can you go back up to the title?
Absolutely. Oh, to the title of the article.
No. The title of the book.
Oh man, you're gonna have me laughing.
I can't believe this shit's real.
This book.
This is why the books aren't selling well, because what the fuck is that? Who the fuck is your audience? Who is you targeting with this? Like, you can't even get conservative Christians to read no shit like this. What is this?
Who is your market, by the way? I'm a leftist. That, remember, most people who are young on the left generally are not as religious. So who are you marketing this book to, bro? That's a good point. The Mystic Jesus, the Mind of Love. Because we know, that's the target audience of Bernie supporters for the most part. Like,
I don't know who she would be marketing this book to. One supporter on the call suggested that she could quiet the critics who said she was merely trying to turn a profit by making her book free for a week. Williamson bristled at the idea. He was like, hey, Marianne, let's set it straight. Let's tell them you're not trying to make money by making it free for a week. She's like, nigga, you better sit your ass down. You better sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
Marianne was like, no. See, that's why you're a peasant. See, that's why you're poor. That's why you don't understand. You don't get it. You don't understand what
this is what she says. Oh, it says more. This is the quote that she says as far as brustling at it. It's called a library, she responded. It's called a library. Elsewhere on the call, Williamson staffer Wendy Zeller, who had managed her book tour, defended her. Quote, I actually run a number of Marianne's book tours. This is nothing like a book tour, Zeller told the Volunteer. I had to sort of laugh when I saw the allegation that she's just trying to run a book tour. No, nothing could be further from a book tour than what goes on here. While I was laughing, I was also very pained at the same time. I'm laughing and pained at the same time, Nick. It was very painful for me to see what's said about Marianne because I know it's not true.
Now you know why Marianne keeps that staff. You see why Marianne keeps that staffer. That staffer has some good job safety right there.
If it's not a book tour, why don't she have access to ballots yet? Why isn't her team out there pushing, making sure that she have access to ballots so people can actually vote for her? Like that's the first fucking thing you guys should be doing. But what are you doing? Nothing. Just getting your face out there, getting your name out there, getting popular with the crowd again, and then you're gonna push. I'm telling you, you're gonna push that damn book in a couple more months. But she has
now,
yeah.
Oh, now listen to this part. Now they get into how much money she has lent her own campaign. Time and again during the 2-hour call, meaning many times during this call, Williamson returned to the dire financial state of her campaign. So many times during the call, she brings it back to the financial state, to which she already loaned $100,000. I wish I just had $100,000 in the bank to put into my vanity tour because I wish I just had that $100,000 in the bank. You get what I'm saying? 100,000. Go ahead.
CJ, that's a good point. Like it'd be fun. It'd be great to have that. But what does it say that she think that shit only costs 100,000? She like I only expect to put so much of my money into my campaign that is supposedly supposed to save the working class. I am running a campaign that is going to get people Medicare for all. I want to be the president of the free world. I want to be the most powerful person in the country, but I only got $100,000 on it. Only $100,000, and you can't be president. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Trump put up millions. Apparently. A lot of his this is what alleged a lot of his campaign was funded by him originally. And he put millions up. Marianne's like, I only go for $100K. That's how serious I am about that.
To which she already loaned $100,000 in 2023, according to financial disclosures from the first quarter of this year. She was questioned several times about turning to her old celebrity connections, but said she wouldn't reach out to Oprah. Quote, Oprah will let me know if she's ever interested, she explained.
She's like, I don't want to spend billionaire money. I don't want to spend my rich friend money. I want to spend money of the poor workers and suckers. Because we posed a theoretical question on our stream before. Why not ask your fucking rich friends to fund your campaign? Her response to that is, I want the workers to do it.
And then, this is not only that. Let's tell the truth. Her friends don't even believe in her. They don't believe in this shit. If that was the case, they would have been funding this shit from the get-go. They are out there.
They're like, no, she's doing the book. She's doing the book thing again. Rome, she's like, she's doing the book thing again. Yep. No, you don't want to put your money in that, but she's doing the book thing. All her real friends, Oprah, know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's a good point. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So let's continue here. It says, Williamson did say she had emailed actress Laura Dern, her former roommate, and had not gotten a reply.
Damn.
She didn't get a reply.
Laura, like, bro, I'm not helping you sell your damn book. I know what this is about, man. I know you for years. I know what you're doing here. I'm not doing it.
They treating her like a Jehovah's Witness. Oh God, it's Marianne again. Close the blinds, everybody. Don't answer the phone. And then it goes on and says, at another point in the call, she said that even former presidential candidate Andrew Lang had reneged on an offer to stump for her in South Carolina. Yang told Politico, quote, "No, that's not correct. Thanks for checking." After the publication of this article, Yang then tweeted that he would campaign for Marianne in early states if she reaches there. So he had to make sure he include that because I guess he hadn't done so up until that point. The negative press, quote, had made me radioactive to some people. The press only did that. Williamson said, she said a recent fundraiser in Chicago where tickets sold for $350 yielded nearly 20,000, but $250 tickets for an upcoming event in LA weren't selling.
Damn, you can't sell out in LA, the liberal fucking hell.
That's where she lives. That's where she lives too. That's where her
look, this
crystal
part.
people are. In another exchange, she called fellow Democratic primary challenger RFK Jr., who announced that he raised $6 million in his first financial disclosure.
Damn.
The quote, bright new shiny object this cycle.
So CJ, that's her acknowledging the problem that we called out months ago that Marianne Williamson supporters were trying to not to acknowledge. We told them the second that RFK was in, it's over for you, let alone Dr. Cornel West. Because even the argument that Cal made was it was extremely important that Marianne be the only one. Because that's the only way that people would choose her over Biden, because they would be doing lesser two evils at that point. If there's anyone else, she's screwed. If there's anyone else in there, they're screwed because they won't be forced to choose her or Biden. And the Marianne Williamson campaign was 100% acknowledged of that, which is funny. And I think this is why Kyle and Crystal got the green light from Marianne to go after RFK because they acknowledged it was a giant thorn in their campaign. Very, very, very revealing there.
And she goes on to say, everybody throwing money at Bobby. Asked at one point how she combats the critics and political opponents looking to undermine her. Williamson pointed to the Zoom itself as a counterbalance. She is terrible. Quote, we do what we're doing right now, she said, just deep in this conversation, forming more of a field. I think everyone on this call will be more active in their own way, clearing some energy because it's a force field. It fuses the force field, you know. It's a state of awareness that miracles come through. I could not be in the room with this person speaking like this for too long. I just could not do it